welcome back. I am so sorry that we was banned or blocked, whatever, from Facebook, but we are back and we're live. Again, thank you for tuning back in with us for another episode. My name is Micah-Jamal. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Micah-Jamal.
And it's your girl Chris. Again, you can follow me at Little Bit Is Fit.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy Wayne. You follow me at Motivated King 93.
Yes, big daddy. Hey y'all, it's your boy Marlon _ on Instagram.
Look,
I gotta go talk. Wait, let me put my shirt and blouse thing together. Hold on.
hashtag when you can do both.
Throw it back.
Hold up, baby. I don't know. You did come through with it now. I ain't never heard that. That's what you can tell me. Talking. Ooh.
That's what I say. Where you at? Surrender.
You better come through with the key sweat.
Surrender.
You tell me to surrender. Ooh. And what that say? Yes, daddy.
Y'all are really throwing me off right now. I cannot.
Oh my God. That is funny
What
to
is that?
me. Don't worry about it. What'd you say?
Nothing.
Oh,
About what?
boring.
Call it what you want.
No, not to a boring sex partner.
I don't have sex. So I'm not gonna say anything.
Well, you can't say that because last week you said that you was going to take yourself.
Oh, well, you did say that last week, so I'm confused.
I
We
said
have a great reunion.
Like, right? Because I'm confused. Like, which one is it, baby?
it's mind the business.
Dude.
It's that one.
And that's not on Mary Had a Little Lamb. But
Oh.
Mary did we come through with the come through.
Jesus.
Okay, y'all.
Let's go ahead. So we're gonna get back started with the conversation. So Christian, go ahead with your
So we're gonna go into the next topic because
They ain't want me to talk.
that's what I want to talk.
I still want to hear it, but we can. Okay. Y'all see this, so we can do some light in the middle or something.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I want to hear.
Cause I want to hear it still.
Okay, so
Just keep it.
I think you can go there.
So Christian still gotta finish her whole
Yeah.
no, because y'all it just seems so dry and dead. Like, oh, but go ahead.
Maybe it's just how you presented yours.
Mic check
No.
1 2 1 2.
It's the whole show, baby.
No, you're trying it. Woo! So anyway,
What your hair is doing?
I'm on this live.
I
I can't enjoy it.
can't see your hair doing.
What you gotta say? I'm not even worth talking.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Anyway, so
We haven't been very childish these last couple episodes.
we
And I
have.
love it.
That's y'all.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Man. Okay, Mr.
Okay,
Man.
Lamar, go ahead and go.
You had to finish what you were saying.
It's okay. My segment's too boring. So.
No.
Well, you gotta at least tell everybody what the question was.
Okay, so the question was, what family traumas did you experience? And in one of those traumas, what was a negative effect that happened to you, and what was a positive effect that happened?
Ooh, this is a compound rent on centric question. But go ahead.
Bitch.
She put a comma.
It's the wedding picture for me.
Right. What is this for me? So shut up.
Yeah.
That's traumatic.
That's all
You want a little
That
spice?
was a good one. Nah,
That was a good sign.
because you normally off, but that was a good one.
I ain't never off.
I have to give it to you. You've learned a couple things sitting right
Okay. Come on, cause I do that.
Go
I know. I can go.
Go what to your husband. Go ahead with mom.
Yeah, he's waiting.
Oops. To bump booties.
Traumatic.
Whatever. Yeah, keep going.
So what was traumatic for me, that deals with family? Or is this more like
In general.
oh. Well, being emancipated was traumatic because of calling everybody and saying, hey, I need help, blah, blah, blah. This is what happened. I I guess my dad called everybody in the family and told them what was going on. I'm not sure, don't know, don't really care. But to be told, nah, we can't help you, was like, oh, okay, so I really do have to figure this out on my own. So that was negative. It was positive because I feel like that was really when I really got to say, like, I can do this on my own. And of course, yeah, that's a good thing, and that's still kind of sort of a negative because I don't really ask for help much, but I appreciate it because I really was able to figure out life by myself.
And do you guys feel like those experiences shaped you and helped you be who you are today?
Hell yeah!
Listen,
Oh, child, that's why I laugh when people be like, oh, it's wrong to be selfish. Me first, because if I'm not okay, I can't help you anyway, so.
right,
Mm.
right. I think it's made me stronger. Like, it's, you know, I can pat myself on the back about where I was and how I used to think.
I agree.
Yes, indeed.
To where I am now, just about, even with relationships, like, I'll hurt from walking away from a relationship, but I'll walk away. You know what I mean? And it was a time where I wouldn't. So I think it's, you know.
And that's why I was saying, my mama was like, honey, if you ever feel any, gone. Yeah. You got one time, baby. This ain't gonna work. Bye.
Yeah. What about you? I know you said yours was more so recent.
Yeah, I already talked about mine.
I'm talking about how.
But you didn't say what was positive, honey.
Oh,
You gave us the negative, but you didn't.
Right,
say
you like
nothing
that
nice.
I did.
Now, if you don't have
I
nothing,
did,
what was
right.
Oh, you said it
I
was.
said because now we have to, exactly.
Y'all have to work.
Now they understand that they can't stand on their own feet and they have to.
But what that got to do with you?
Yeah, this was more so like a you thing, not a.
Well, I didn't know you said family. I was confused
But
by the question.
It was supposed to be what was
The premise
traumatic
of the
to
question.
you,
Yeah,
and how did that help and shape you, not them.
Oh, okay.
So how did it shape you other than, oh, they finally get to stand on their own 2 feet and march left, right, and walk with Jesus and hold the Lord's hand?
Okay, he don't want to answer that. Okay.
I mean, I've answered. I don't understand. Just because my answer did not appease
It wasn't.
you,
No, it
or
wasn't.
it's not what you wanted to be, it is a miracle.
Oh, so we're about to go to
That
politics.
is
Let's-
my
let's-
answer.
Okay,
You glad you ain't free, stop.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your black may not be free, but my black is free.
I don't know somebody.
Okay, so speaking of this, it leads me to my next one. Your deal breakers, right?
So
Whether-
how do being free lead into deal?
Shut your ass up and let me explain.
I'll say we should have made a segment. Speaking of being free, how you free yourself from people that have deal breakers?
Let that girl do her show.
No, this is a good quality, but go ahead.
Why put the show this free?
I have no idea. You see that too? But it's
Y'all, I just really want to apologize for tonight's show because stuff is just off, all the way off.
Well, when Facebook blocked us, you know, that really ticked me off, and I'm trying to be nice because I want to go and just send them a nice little email right now because I don't understand why they banned our video. But
So this is a trigger. Sounds like let's talk about triggers.
you better segue. Come on, baby.
Okay.
Learn it.
So, shut your
Go ahead.
So anyway, so my next question was, I mean, you can couple triggers and deal breakers together, but when it comes to friendship, we can even just talk about friendships. We don't even gotta talk about relationships.
Let's do the relationship part and then the friendship part. I'm intrigued. This is the question I've been waiting on.
Okay.
Mm.
What are your deal breakers? And not deal breakers that people be like, oh, I'll never do this, and then it pop off and you do it or you give in. What is a true deal breaker for you?
I want to go last.
Okay.
A relationship deal
Wanna go,
breaker.
Wayne?
I would say, I guess relationship wise, someone who has absolutely nothing going for themselves and not trying to be nothing. Because if you find somebody that ain't got somebody I'm dealing with, you gotta have something to lose. Because if you don't got nothing to
That's
lose,
good.
you'll take all I got.
That's why you.
So
That's why
why
broke
you
folks should not date.
What?
Niggas with no job and broke folks should not date.
Right, because guess what? They'll drain you.
Mm-hmm.
Cause they ain't got nothing to lose, so they'll take all you got and not
You
even
stay at
care.
your house, come over here with a whole suitcase, and you can try to figure out what.
So that's like an absolute walk away. You're not gonna compromise on that whatsoever.
Oh, a man with no job now.
A man with nothing and that's trying to get nothing, like no. Mm-mm.
No compromise.
And then you think it's cute, you trying to be stacking with it. No. Mm-mm. No, get out of my face. Oh, sorry.
And you know what? You're sweet as pie.
I like that.
Yes.
Get out of my face. I felt that from myself.
So that's my relationship. Are we doing both of these?
You can do both.
First?
Leave relationship first.
Okay.
I'm gonna get confused.
Okay.
Micah's running this show today.
Mm-mm.
Go ahead, Mark.
Do it right, but I don't need to. Go ahead, Lamar.
Shut your ass
Go
up.
through the trial.
A deal breaker for me in a relationship. Oh God, it's so mean.
Oh, wow.
I think the biggest for me would be kind of like what Wayne said. Like if you don't have anything going for yourself, or even if you're not even striving to be better than where you are right now in your life, I really don't have nothing to do with you. It's a waste of my time because I would love to say, okay, you see that I'm trying to get somewhere, so I'm motivating you to get off your butt and do something. They can't hear me?
Mm-hmm.
They can hear us.
Oh, so that you can motivate yourself. So I feel like, yeah, by watching, yes, I feel like hopefully I'm motivating you to want to get up and do more. But if it's just like, oh, okay, I'm still here. Yeah, I love an ambitious man. So if you don't have no ambitions, I don't know what you want from me. I'll keep myself. You have no ambition, we have nothing to talk about.
Okay. So I think my deal breaker, since Michael wants to go last, my deal breaker is cheating for sure. And I used to go back, but I think in the space that I'm in now, that is an absolute no for me, as well as just somebody who I just feel like I don't have a voice with. Like, when you limit my voice and you tell me that I can't say or speak, or that you don't care about what I have to say, I can't be with you. Because what I have to, even if you might not feel like it's important or it's not big, to me it's big. So my voice matters, and I feel like there should be a space that's created where I'm able to feel safe to voice whatever I'm feeling. That's
So
what
Alexa, play Beyonce list.
But I have a question though. So red flags we can agree is through relationship.
yes.
So is a deal breaker or you guys are taking that into context after a relationship has started or what?
Well, mine is if I'm in a relationship and I see this behavior, cheating, or that I don't have a voice, that's definitely dirty.
I guess it depends on what you say.
What about you?
Oh, if you show me no signs of you trying to get up and do something with your life, what am I going to do with you? So it's already
But I'm
a deal
saying-
breaker before we get that far to saying I want to talk to you.
Because for me, because all these sound good in fact, but you asked the question, you said not, how do you phrase it when you ask?
Not the
that
cute
sounds
ones.
good.
Not the ones that sounds good. And I think that all of you guys gave single answers. Because I think a red flag is free relationship stuff that is not gonna work for me. But when to me,
So you think we got cookie cutter answers?
no, you gave red flags. Because to
Cheating
me,
in a relationship.
when you are in a relationship, because when I came into thinking that a deal breaker is, you don't see it as a deal breaker when you're in love with someone. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Because you can say, I don't want no one that don't have ambition, but you already in a relationship and they fall on hard times. They go through a moment of depression. Are you going to leave them? Because right at that moment, they don't have ambition.
Right.
So to me, that's not a deal breaker because it's a moment of weakness. And if I'm your partner, I'm there to walk through you with it. So if you leave them, then you don't love them.
So then what is
I'm weak about to argue.
So that's my. So
Well,
I
mine
don't
would be
say.
But I feel like it's
I would say
No, mine be a red flag.
Exactly.
I get so-
It's two
Yeah,
different things.
no. If you started off good and then go through a hard patch, that's different. But I'm talking about from the beginning for me.
So it's a red flag.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
So a deal breaker for me,
It's
I don't
inside
believe in.
relationship.
I don't think it's a deal
Because
breaker.
my whole thing is this: if I start off talking to you,
No, because the things that even in my relationship now, things that I would typically not go for, that will be a deal breaker, is not a deal breaker.
So you're saying you don't have any deal breakers?
I don't think so. I think it is certain things that if you cross a certain line, then it's time to just part ways.
Yeah.
But for this is definitely deal breaker. I mean, that's kind of like far-fetched. And no matter what, out of context, no matter what context it's in, no matter what season it's in, if you do ABC, that's it. I don't agree with that because where's love?
I don't agree with that.
Again, comes from people who not in love.
I
Apparently.
just want to go.
I mean, I'm who's not in love?
I
Is
just
it
want to
me?
go.
Wait a minute, just because.
No, I'm just
You
saying.
see how you want it?
No, I'm just saying because when you are in love, it is different. Your
No,
mindset
I
is
agree
different.
with
It's
that.
no such
I
thing as
agree with that.
if you do X, Y, Z, I'm gonna end it regardless of what.
No.
That's not love.
If somebody cheats on you and you're in a committed relationship, I'm not staying.
Why?
That's her.
Because
That's
that's
not
my
you, that's her.
that's my deal breaker.
That's
I've been
her
cheated
deal
on
breaker.
enough to know that when I'm in my relationship now, if he was to step out and cheat on me, I don't want to be with him anymore.
But my question again is why?
Because that's my boundary that I've created.
But why? You're not saying why.
Yes, I
She don't
am.
want to feel like shit.
Because you got to get to the heart of why is this a deal breaker
Why?
for me?
Because I don't want to be
She
cheated
don't want to go
on.
through that trauma.
If you're stepping out on me in our relationship, then you don't want to be in our relationship.
See, that's not true. That is not true.
How
That if
is
you
that
step
not true?
out in a relationship with someone, that means you no longer want to be with them. That's not true.
So why step out? Why step out if you want to be with them?
So certain people, and I'm not advocating for cheating. I don't like
Sounds
cheating.
like it to me.
But I am trying to get to a conversation. If we're gonna have a conversation, because certain people do step out, and it's wrong. Don't get me wrong, that is totally wrong.
So why do I have to give my advice for a deal breaker? If I'm saying I've experienced this type of trauma that's happened in past relationships, and now I'm in a space that if that is what you do, if you step out on me, there is no discussion. I'm done. Why do I have to give you a why?
Is the reason why because you went back to someone who cheated on you, they cheat on you again?
It's not about. No, they didn't cheat on me again, but I went back and I didn't like how I felt. So I'm not gonna subject myself to that same type of behavior.
So it goes back to another point, and then I'll let Lamar argue his point. Is this: if you decide to stay with someone after a breakup, then you no longer have a right to hold them to that mistake. For the fact that you say I did not feel the same after it, that is an inward thing. That's something wrong with you because you
I agree.
agreed to go
Exactly.
back.
I'm not negating
You know?
that, but what I'm
So-
saying is I know now that that is not a space that I want to ever be in again. So if you feel like and this is the space that I've always created with the person that I'm with, was if you feel like you want to step out or if you feel like there's something that's missing here, then we need to have a discussion. And that's a hard discussion. A lot of couples can't have those tough conversations like, hey, I'm feeling this type of way. And sometimes it's not realistic for people to have that conversation. But for me, in the space that I'm in, that is the space that we created for each other. So I feel like if you feel like you want to step out for whatever reason, let me know, hey babe, I'm feeling this type of way. We can discuss it, figure out how we can work through it, if it can be worked through, or we can part ways, but don't go behind my back and cheat on me. That's betrayal. And that's just not something that I'm willing to subject myself to. So that is a deal breaker for me. It has nothing to do with love or not loving them, being in love, kind of love. It's a deal breaker. That's where I draw the line, and that is my boundary.
Lamar, what you think? What you're arguing? Because I don't think cheating is a ground for breaking up. I think lying about it is. I don't think cheating is.
Because I feel like we've had this talk before. And I feel like we spoke on it, even when it comes to that little 80-20 thing and blah, blah, blah. So I understand where you're coming from in the sense of cheating is not always in the sense that I do not love you. Now, don't get me wrong, because again, it can go back to what we were just saying, where he could be depressed. So whatever that person's going through, whatever I'm doing is not uplifting them. But they might have somebody over here that's doing whatever the heck it is that they need to lift them up. So in a very nice way, that's going to come off very bad to a lot of people, sugar honey iced tea just happens. It's not like I went out of my way to make something happen, but it happened because this person was doing something for me that you weren't doing. Does not mean I love you less, but my light at the end of the tunnel was here. It wasn't you. Which some people should speak on that before it gets that deep and let your spouse know, hey, we're having a problem because I'm noticing I'm going to this person for X, Y, Z. For a lot of people, cheating is a deal breaker because of past issues, which the best example I can give is any person that's gone through a divorce, and when you ask them certain questions, they get pissed. It's not even though because, oh, I'm over it. Like, yeah, I'm over it, but you're bringing an emotion out of me that I don't want to deal with. And when you cheat on me, you done made me feel everything that I felt in the past, and now everything you said to me makes you a complete liar. So I don't want nothing to do with you. And for some, once you break my trust, it's a wrap. Because I can name somebody right now who has broken, and God knows they are trying everything in their power. And you know exactly who that man is. And I just sit back and just be like, okay.
Do I know?
You seen him.
So I again, this is, and I guess it's kind of like other things that play a role in it as well. And just from experience, life experience, I don't think that it is, and to each his own, and everybody can disagree or agree. I just don't think that if you guys have time and you guys have invested in a relationship, that someone going out to cheat on you is that automatically grounds for terminating the relationship. I understand if you got other things in play with it, that the communication is no longer there, the love is no longer there. Lies has been coming out. Now those type of things play along with it. But for you to say, if someone stepped out on me, like at the end of the day, it is the 21st century. And call it what you want it. The idea of one man being with one woman or being with one man for the rest of their lives, that is not always 100% possible.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm feeling.
It's not. I mean, it's not.
I'm disagree with that. No, monogamy does exist. No.
I didn't say it doesn't. See, now you missed.
No.
I didn't say
Because
it
that's
doesn't.
not half of the word.
I
I said what you just said.
I said no, because I'm very clear. I say it always don't work out that way.
I agree with that.
It always don't work out
But
that way.
I do feel like, for me, even if you cheat, what was the reason? Now, once we get past the reason, I will know if I choose to stay or go. That's
I
for
can
me.
agree with that. Because it's the lies.
Because the reality is, it's not like you're going to come up to me and just, unless you are 100% good in your skin. Like, hey, baby, I need to talk to you. I done did something. Don't know how it's going to go. And I'm going to ask you why. Now, whatever your why is going to determine what's going to happen. But, of course, the problem with that is you've already lied. However long it's been going on, you've already lied. So now I have to decipher, is your answer going to be satisfactory enough for me to be like, okay, no problem.
See, but when
And
hearing that, and that's what I did, right? That's what I've done. So the deal breaker that I've established, the boundary that I've established now going forward in all my relationships is contingent on experiences. Of course, that's how you get deal breakers. You don't know your deal breakers or your red flags until you're in a relationship, right?
I guess
But I think for me, it's like that. Although I want to know the why, it's the fact that it still happened. Yeah, and I'm not okay with it happening. So that's why that part, the why doesn't matter to me. That's why.
So Michael says some folks don't set their mind to work back to trust and or go to professional counseling, which I think is very valuable. So, and most of all, put God in head of it. And I think that some people try to put God too much in head of it. It is not a God thing; it's a flesh thing.
Right.
And you got to deal with it. But I don't know. I just don't think it is. Again, I don't advocate cheating. Okay, I don't advocate cheating, and I don't lie well. So it's like I don't advocate cheating, and I don't lie well because I'm too much upfront. But I don't think cheating. If my partner, and I'm speaking in general, if my partner come up to me and say, "Hey, I stepped out. I did X, Y, and Z." Now I need to hear the conversation we're gonna have, and then we're gonna work from there. But if another hoe comes to me out and say, "Oh, I smashed, boom, 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 boom," and here go the receipt, that's on.
Well, see, you can't have this conversations with me because, see, first of all, I have too many personalities sitting in my head. You may not know where I'm at when you choose to bring this up. So you gotta find out who you're talking to before you say certain crap to me. So it's a no. Like and granted, and I'm an a-hole by nature. So if anything, you're gonna bring out that person in me who just wants to know why, even though I already know we're done. But I want to know why you did it. So for me, cheating is a no. I would say anything, a deal breaker. First of all, if I have to fight you, that's a deal breaker. If at any point I feel that I'm about to wear your behind out, or even if we ever get to a point where I physically put my hands on you, I'm done. And God forbid if you're at my house because your stuff will be outside probably by the dumpster and I'm gonna let you know where it's at.
Oops.
But still,
He is one of them.
for me, because I already grew up in a very violent home. So anytime I feel that you are about to bring something out of me that I know is present, because I'm only going to get out of character with people that I really have a relationship with. So if you're able to bring that out of me, hell, the fact that you brought it out of me, I don't want nothing to do with you. Because I already know my craziness. And if we have to get to a point where I'm calling the police for your safety and mine, we're done.
Got a problem. So Nikki said, not being able to comprehend what is being discussed, but also being able to have a, not being able to have a deep conversation. Please be able to hold a conversation. Again, I think that goes back to red flags. These are things you should find out before you get committed.
But people don't date nowadays. Y'all be quick. People say they do, but y'all be quick to meet somebody. Oh, I love his energy, his vibe, girl, he everything. And then 2 weeks later, now we in a relationship. 2 months later, girl, he did X, Y, Z, and I don't know what, because you don't know who the heck you're talking to. So now that he done presented himself as who he is, you're confused. Because you have no idea whatsoever who you're dealing with because you was too busy playing house.
And that is why I say that when you are dating someone or you're in a relationship, that is those deal breakers being black and white is not always the case. Because as you date, you get to know a person. And especially after you guys move in, it's a whole nother level.
Well, you can't move in with me. Because you got to go home. Nope. I'm sorry. That's cute. We can move in when I get a ring. No ring, you go home. No.
And engagement week or what?
Home. I do not want a promise ring. I want a ring where you done got down on your knee. Yeah, I don't want that. Don't want that. You done went out and bought me some good.
Well,
Or you went to Pandora because I do like Pandora bracelets, anything that's in the Disney collection.
I'm gonna text somebody and tell them to go get a good one.
Good luck. You better go with him because we never discussed that, and I'm sure he don't know what I think.
I'll go with it.
Only one person on this earth would know what I
And
think.
I'm gonna call her.
It's him.
Who I'm. I need you to Facebook message me so we can get this settled. What about you, Larry?
I'm 35 and I'm thinking that's my man. So it's a wrap.
Oops.
It's a wrap.
And oops. What about being AllFor1?
The conversation that we just had.
Man, I'm never in a relationship. I'm gonna put up no seat. I don't even play them damn games. Don't even play my face.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? Because my whole thing is, I know where I'm at mentally,
Right.
and I know it's a part of me. You remember the homie that would do like they got locked up that time when I went crazy. It's a part of me that only Micah really know about, and you know what I'm capable of if I go to that point.
You tell me.
You know what I'm saying? I just had an unruly little phase I went through. And
What
you know,
happened?
I'm gonna tell you that they would put me in the cop car.
You've been arrested.
I went crazy. I went crazy.
Not Big Daddy out here being a BOT.
But I didn't stop that though.
But I still think that all of that, and maybe it's just me being naive.
It's you.
But I do think that all of that kind of, you look at that differently once you in a relationship.
Look at what different.
About like you going there. Because everybody know, now all y'all know that I'm probably the pettiest person that somebody can ever meet. But inside of my relationship, I bow out more than I engage in pettiness. Because I understand, like, but why?
You ain't the petty one at this stage.
Like,
okay. If you believe so, that's good.
You know, hey. It is
Okay,
what it is. Okay. You stay over there, Marlo. But anyway. But I mean, so it's a little different. Like things I would normally do.
I agree with that because in my relationship, I am very much so submissive for sure, and I don't.
That sounds submissive.
Lean back.
I'm very.
Because we had a conversation about that with my friends. What does it mean to submit?
So let me get into it just a little bit. I'm a little bit more submissive. I'm not as petty.
For about 2 months.
Shut your mouth about my friend.
I'm just saying I like him, Moesha. It's cool.
Oh my goodness.
He was pulling the tub and everything.
Oh my god.
That's why she got the Nike on. Just do it, baby. Just do it. Easy ass.
What was they going to do?
Oh my god.
I love it though, girl.
But okay, so submissive, and so I think the term submissive, it can be taken out of context in terms of like, oh, you have to. That's like you're their slave, or you listen to everything. That is not what submission is, and I think it's very, very. The context, yeah, and the context that people use it in is not right, right? So when I say submissive, I heed to the voice of my man, right? So if he is dropping knowledge or wisdom about something, I'm gonna heed to what he's saying. I'm not gonna be.
I like that heat.
Okay, you better come through with the Bible verses in the whole
Oh God!
Yeah! Come on, Miss Mary!
Ooh, not the BBC. Keys to the BBC. Oh!
But I definitely take seriously the things that he once says and his wants, his needs, and then just things that in our relationship, the respect factor, right? So there's a lot of things that I am willing to digress on because I understand my position in my relationship, and not my position as if I'm inferior to him. I'm not inferior, but I know the role that I have in my relationship.
Come on, Queen!
So I cannot.
Cause she knows her role. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead, be listening.
So I think that's just, for me, when it comes to relationships, I think that's the biggest thing for me is I know my triggers, I know my deal breakers, but I also know when I need to digress and when something is worth working and when something is not worth working. But I do have a standard that I uphold when it comes to myself, because although we are a couple, we are very much still two individuals. And there's things that we both want or do not want in a relationship or are willing to deal with and not willing to deal with. So I'm vocal about, hey, I'm not willing to deal with this. So if we're together and this happens, I can't be here.
So we have to end soon, but now when you bring up an important conversation though, that I just want to ask a question about her, because she said about, you know, being submissive and roles, and I know like for me, because I think it's different when you are going from a heterosexual relationship to a homosexual relationship.
I mean, I've been with a girl, but
I think it's a little different. I think that that's a conversation that I am intrigued to have. So I think one day she has to be out.
I don't know.
Because
I have it now, hell.
Not now, because we gotta go. Because I want
you
to
want a male
advise.
male.
I want to bring in someone that's in a homosexual relationship and get their opinion on it as well. That's been in one for
So you
a
want
long
somebody
time.
else to sit in my seat?
When you need to be out.
I'm not gonna need to be out.
Because I would never discuss that.
No, because you can, from a single point, about what you think and what you're looking forward to. Because, do you think that I'm submissive?
This should come out.
Huh?
Official.
Because
That wasn't an answer. We didn't know what he said.
I know for me,
I don't know what he
I would
said.
know what homosexuals do.
because I know, wait, because I know for me that I'm an alpha male, and I'm only really attracted to country.
You attracted to what?
I'm attracted to other alphas. If I'm dating a female or a male, I'm just attracted to alpha. So for you to be like buyout submissive, to me that's unattractive.
Buy out submissive?
But I
And
guess.
some people are very, very submissive.
But what does submissive mean to you?
Nikki said I couldn't hear the answer.
Me neither.
What
Text
is
her, Nikki.
What is
Oh, that's his friend.
That's my friend.
That's his boo.
But they.
But what does it mean to be submissive?
That's a good question. Because everybody
It's different.
It's different.
Because you know, especially, but now this is where it's annoying with the gay community because their version of submissive would be whoever has on nails and will look like you.
that they need to be submissive?
Correct.
Why is it a gender specific or
Because again,
a
in the gay
personality
community,
specific?
what is considered submissive is someone who
Well,
is
you know
tipping
what?
that line
It's the
of being
same
a
thing
girl.
with lesbians. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, I know.
I dated females. So why you trying to make it seem like I wouldn't be able to understand?
No, I didn't say you wouldn't understand, but
period.
that's not what you are in your life right now.
I'm not, but I can speak to it.
So I don't need you to
But I can speak to it. But I can speak to
I
it.
just wanted something.
Come
on with the docket, come on.
I just want somebody
It's like that. It's like that.
longevity. That's what I really want to
You
know.
know somebody?
Yeah, I know a few people. I really like
Which
legit
one
just
about
want
that
to know.
one? Oh, okay.
So we can't have them call in. You want them to sit in my seat? No.
Anyway, so here's another question. Miss
Can't nobody
Heterosexual.
sit in my seat?
Miss Heterosexual. I mean, I get that. But Miss Heterosexual.
Okay, let's go.
Can a male be the submissive one in a relationship when it comes to a female?
Perfect example, Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union.
Okay, Kim Fields.
They've talked about that. Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union have talked about that.
That's
He said he
interesting.
doesn't feel like he has to be that role in his relationship. He's fine with Gabriella taking that. Or Gabrielle, I'm sorry.
Because he's gay. Allegedly.
No, because again, it goes to every
Allegedly.
individual's definition of submissive.
Yeah.
That's a strong word.
Y'all, we got a return for this.
Because y'all know,
We had
the Lord did not set me up to be that way. I think, yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that right now. Yeah, I can't answer that right now.
So let's ponder on it.
We'll come back next time because look,
This is a good
Why
topic.
is
Me-
it
me submitting. Ooh,
Would that be
Don't
like
say it.
would that be a late night special or
No.
No, I understand.
What would that be?
It needs to be a late night special.
The late night special is when we talking
No,
sex.
correct.
And when we talking sex, and we have to push people to the Twitter. We got to push people to the Twitter. Because Facebook will take us off, and YouTube will take us off. But over at the Twitter, we can talk about it. That's our late night special.
Oh, so we have to actually tweet.
No, we'll be on live, but on Twitter.
Oh, we have a lot.
Oh, yes. We are live on Twitter right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well,
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode for AllFor1. I think we had a great conversation.
I'm sorry it was so ghetto and this video's cut off and then he said it was boring and I am sorry.
I think it matched your style perfectly.
No, it doesn't. You trying me, bitch. I mean, Lord forgive me.
And
I just know from here on out.
I'm
Okay.
shooting on these bitches now.
What?
So before we go, for Nikki, I like this right here.
800 588 2300 Empire.
Today.
800 588 2300 Empire.
Today.
800 588
Winston, I love you so